Desexualize your brain. Musashi's code to reclaim your masculine power. There is a prison in which you live right now, and the most dangerous thing isn't the bars. It's the fact that you're not to feel their weight. No chains on the wrists, no padlock, no jailer in sight. The modern cell is quiet, comfortable, and extremely efficient. You wake up and the first thing you touch isn't the floor, it's your cell phone. Even before deciding who you're going to be that day, someone has already decided for you what you will see, desire, and consume. Bodies, stimuli, fantasies, empty promises packaged as freedom. And you call that a choice. The man who cannot control his own desires. It will always be dominated by someone. This isn't philosophy, it's behavioral engineering. Modern society doesn't require you to be strong, focused, or dangerous. She needs you to be there, distracted, tired, and predictable. Observe the pattern. The more sexual stimulation you consume, the less energy you have. The easier the pleasure, the less desire to build. The more fantasy, the less action. And nobody explains that to you, because a man who understands this mechanism becomes impossible to control. You've been conditioned to confuse desire with power, but desire without control. It's weakness disguised as pleasure. Every uncontrolled impulse is an external command being executed within your mind. Scroll, click, consume, repeat. This is the daily ritual of the modern slave. It's no coincidence that men today are more confused, demotivated, and anxious than ever before. It's not bad luck. It's not a phase. It is project. A constantly stimulated mind never falls silent, and a mind that is never silent, you never know. She reacts, she obeys, she flees from the void because she has been trained to fear it. But emptiness is precisely where power resides. While you run from the silence, the system fills that space with cheap stimulation, and you pay with your vital energy, your clarity, and your ambition. The question isn't whether you consume stimuli. The question is, who's in control when you consume? If desire drives you, you are not free. You are being directed. And the warrior's first victory does not happen in the outside world. It happens when he sees the cell. Modern prisons don't look like prisons. She seems pleased, and that's exactly why it works. You are not forced to consume sexual stimuli. You are seduced. And when something seduces you, you let your guard down. Social networks, pornography, dating apps, advertising. Everything was built for a single purpose. Activate your primitive brain and keep it there, trapped in the cycle of anticipation. It's not pleasure that holds you back. That's his promise. Each suggestive image, each like, each empty conversation carries a microdose of dopamine. Not complete pleasure, just enough to keep you seeking the next stimulus. This is how addiction is created. Dopamine doesn't make you happy. She makes you to want. And a man who is always wanting is never satisfied, never whole, never present. He lives in a state of need. Observe the side effects this has on your life. Difficulty concentrating, chronic procrastination, lack of energy for difficult tasks, lack of interest in lengthy processes, devaluation of effort. Anything that requires patience starts to seem too burdensome. Anything that requires discipline starts to seem boring, because your brain has been trained for quick and easy rewards. And then comes the final blow. Every time you give in to the impulse, something inside you silently breaks. It's not their fault. It is self-image. You begin to see yourself as someone who doesn't control their own mind, and a man who doesn't trust himself does not lead his own life. The golden trap doesn't destroy you all at once. It drains you little by little, until the day you look around and realize you're busy, stimulated, entertained, but it's not making any progress. That's the price of pleasure without control. And here's the disturbing truth. It's not that you lack strength. He was never taught how to preserve it. The system profits from its dispersion, but the warrior begins his journey when he understands this and decides to break free from the cycle. Because there is only one real way out of this trap, to regain control of one's own desires. And that's exactly what one man did. Centuries ago, in feudal Japan, you are not fighting against the world. You are fighting against something far more dangerous, a fragmented mind. Modern warfare is not fought with visible weapons. It happens in the silence of your head, the moment you try to focus. And it fails. There is no army in front of you. There is a constant stream of stimuli competing for your attention. And every time you give in, you lose internal territory. This war is not physical. She has a neurological condition. Today, generals don't use swords. They use algorithms. They study your behavior, your desires, your times of weakness. They know exactly when to attack. Tired? Stimulation. Bored? Stimulate yourself. Anxious? Stimulate. There's always something to distract you from the silence. And here's the crucial point. A constantly stimulated mind, it does not develop depth. She becomes reactive, jumping from thought to thought, desire to desire, without ever settling down. The result? You feel like you're always busy but rarely productive, always consuming but rarely creating, always planning but almost never executing. Uncontrollable desire is not just an addiction, he is a blurry vision. While her mind is preoccupied with anticipating the next pleasure, she is unable to see what truly matters. Long-term goals seem too distant. Necessary sacrifices seem unfair. Discipline feels like oppression. And then you rationalize. Just a little more. I'll focus later. Today was a difficult day. And so, day after day, you postpone becoming the version of yourself you could have become. The real enemy is not pleasure. It is loss of control. When desire takes control, the mind ceases to be a blade and becomes a pendulum. Fluctuating, undecided, weak. And here is the truth that few accept. Before getting lost in the outside world, you already lost inside. Victory doesn't begin with motivation. It begins with dominance, control over impulse, mastery over focus, mastery over one's own mental chaos. And that is exactly what one man understood centuries ago. A man who won battles even before wielding a sword. Miyamoto Musashi was not born strong. He became. In an era where death was commonplace and mistakes cost lives, Musashi understood something the modern world has forgotten. The real battle happens before the confrontation. Musashi won more than 60 deadly duels. No defeats, no hesitation. But his greatest victory was never recorded on the battlefield. It happened in the silence of daily discipline. Musashi lived like a ronin, without a master, without comfort, without distractions. While other samurai sought status, pleasure, and social validation, he was looking for clarity. He chose strategic solitude, not because he hated people, but because I understood that excessive stimulation weakens the mind. Musashi never married. He did not build his identity around fleeting desires. He made a conscious choice to renounce the superfluous in order to master the essential, and what was essential was the mind. In the Book of Five Rings, Musashi leaves behind a principle that is still troubling today. The disciple must learn to desire nothing. This does not mean a lack of goals. It means the absence of slavery. Musashi understood that vulgar desire, sex without purpose, pleasure without discipline, the constant search for approval. It was a fog that blinded the warrior. While his contemporaries were lost in parties, drinking, and intrigue, Musashi was training. He isolated himself. He sharpened his mind as he sharpened his sword. He cultivated emptiness, not a weak void, but an emptiness filled with presence, an inner space where there was no distraction, only intention. In that state, Musashi did not react. He acted. Every movement was conscious. Every decision was precise. Every action stemmed from absolute clarity. And this is where the bridge forms between you and him. Musashi faced enemies of flesh and blood. You face invisible stimuli. But the principle is the same. He who controls his mind wins before the battle even begins. When Musashi wrote "To desire nothing," he was not advocating passivity. He was teaching freedom. Modern man reads this sentence and panics. He imagines repression, guilt, weakness, emotional castration, because he only knows two states: to yield or to repress. Musashi operated on a third level, domain. Not wanting anything doesn't mean not having goals. It means not being dragged due to external impulses. It means acting intentionally, not out of compulsion. Vulgar desires for sex, validation, status, or easy pleasure fragment the mind. It divides your attention, scatters your energy, and weakens your presence. While you desire too much, you age of less. The warrior does not eliminate desire. He puts him in his proper place. Musashi understood that uncontrolled desire creates internal noise. And where there is noise, there is no clarity. Where there is no clarity, there is no firm decision. That is why he cultivated emptiness. Emptiness is not absence. It is free interior space, free from fantasies, free from pointless mental dialogues, free from the need for immediate gratification. In this state, the mind sees reality as it is, without emotional filters. And a man who sees clearly becomes dangerous. Excessive desire does the opposite. He distorts it. He's exaggerating. He's lying. You start to believe that you need that stimulus. Something is missing without it. And then you negotiate with the impulse. Just this once. I'll get back to the main topic later. This is the language of slavery. Musashi did not negotiate on impulse. He was watching. He let it pass. He made a conscious choice. And here's the uncomfortable truth. As long as you don't master desire, you does not govern his own life. You react. You get distracted. You get lost. To desire nothing is Alberta. Act only when the action serves the mission. Everything else is noise. You are not addicted to pleasure. Are you addicted to anticipation? That's the real role of dopamine. It is not the pleasure hormone. She is the fuel for the search. It's what makes you want more, even when you're already empty. In the past, this was useful. Dopamine made you hunt, build, protect. High effort, real reward. Today, the system was hacked. Your brain releases dopamine in response to stimuli that require no effort at all. Images, likes, suggestive messages, fantasy without action. The result? Your brain learns that it can feel excitement without building anything, and that's devastating. Because the brain adapts to the environment. He starts avoiding difficult tasks. He loses tolerance for boredom. He rejects lengthy processes. Reading a book becomes tiring. Training gets tiring. Building something from scratch seems impossible, not because you are weak, but because his motivation system was reprogrammed. Each dose of cheap dopamine weakens your ability to seek real rewards, and the side effect is brutal. Loss of focus, loss of energy, loss of self-esteem. You start to see yourself as someone who doesn't keep the promises you make to yourself, and this self-image silently erodes their confidence. The system knows this. A tired, distracted, and insecure man is easy to control. He consumes. They complain. He procrastinates. But he doesn't build empires. As long as you're trapped in the dopaminergic cycle, you'll be fighting against yourself. And no external battle will be won in this way. Liberation begins when you understand this, and he decides to cut off the flow, not for moral reasons, for strategic reasons. When you hear abstinence, your conditioned mind screams, punishment, serious mistake. On the warrior's path, abstinence is not punishment. It is war logistics. Every victorious army understands one thing: resources are finite. Energy wasted before the battle is defeat anticipated. And the energy you waste the most today is the sexual. This energy is not dirty. It's not shameful. She is crude fuel. The system taught you to burn it in useless bonfires, pornography, fantasies, empty validation, conversations that lead nowhere. The result? Ashes. Tiredness. Empty. Strategic abstinence reverses this. She doesn't say repress. She says retain. When you stop giving in to easy temptations, something powerful happens. Energy doesn't disappear. She accumulates. And stored energy seeks an outlet. If you don't provide a lower exit point, it goes up. She becomes the focus. It turns into productive aggression. It becomes a desire to act. The first few days are uncomfortable. Excellent. Discomfort is a sign of deconditioning. Your brain is screaming because it missed its cheap fix. But little by little, the mental fog begins to dissipate. You wake up more alert. His gaze becomes more focused. Your body is asking for movement. This is energy returning to its rightful owner. Musashi understood this instinctively. He didn't waste any energy before the fight. He preserved it. He was concentrating on her. Every impulse not to give in to is a training exercise for willpower. Each conscious no strengthens the center. Each day of strategic abstinence sharpens the inner blade. And here's the point that few accept. You don't need to eliminate pleasure. You need to choose when it is deserved. As long as pleasure commands, you obey. When you decide, you govern. Strategic abstinence is this: to take away the power of the impulse and return it to its mission. No mind can remain disciplined in a weak body. That's not an opinion. It's physiology. The body is the ground on which the mind treads. If the ground is unstable, the mind slips. You can study philosophy. You can listen to speeches. You can repeat mantras. But if your body can't tolerate discomfort, your mind breaks under pressure. Musashi trained every day, not because I liked it, but because he understood that discipline is not emotion, it's habit. Physical training isn't just about strength. He teaches inner obedience. When your body wants to stop and you keep going, something changes. When your breathing becomes heavy and you maintain the rhythm, something settles in. You prove to yourself that not a prisoner of sensations. That's real power. Each workout is a micro-battle won against the urge to give up. And these victories accumulate. The man who trains learns to say no to comfort, and a man who masters comfort masters desire. Notice the pattern. Those who don't train give up more easily. Those who train have greater endurance. It's not moral, it's conditioning. A well-trained body better regulates dopamine, testosterone, focus, and healthy aggression. He sustains the mind when the impulse arises. When desire arises, the disciplined body don't panic. It absorbs. He redirects. He maintains his composure. Musashi lived in a state of constant alert. Every day was preparation. Every action was training. You don't need a dojo. You need constancy. Daily training. Real effort. No negotiation. A strong body doesn't eliminate desire. He contains. And restraint is control. Without a disciplined body, all talk about mind control becomes fantasy. With a disciplined body, the mind learns to stay focused. And that changes everything. If you can't stand the silence, it's because the silence reveals who you're avoiding facing. Modern man flees from emptiness as he flees from pain. He fills every gap with sound, image, stimulus, because deep down, he fears encountering himself. Musashi did not fear emptiness. He cultivated. The emptiness he taught about was not absence. It was absolute presence. A clear mind does not react by reflex. She chooses. Warrior meditation is not relaxation. It's domain training. It's about learning to observe the impulse without becoming the impulse. When a sexual thought arises, the weak man chases after it. The warrior watches. He feels the energy rising, and he's in no hurry to release it. This difference changes destinies. In practice, mental emptiness is simple and relentless. Sit down, breathe, observe. When the desire arises, don't fight it. Fighting gives strength to the enemy. Just watch, acknowledge it, let it pass. At first, the mind screams. She needs stimulation. She threatens. She negotiates. This is the addiction dying. Every thought not acted upon is a silent victory. Each unfulfilled impulse weakens the habit. Over time, something changes. Desire loses its urgency. Fantasy loses its sharpness. The mind gains space. This space is power. Musashi called this shunnata, the fertile void, a state where there are not enough distractions to throw you off balance, where the mind remains steadfast even under pressure. This state does not originate from theory. It comes from daily practice. 5 minutes a day is enough to start breaking down conditioning. 10 minutes can transform a relationship with a single impulse. 30 minutes builds an unshakable center. The man who masters emptiness does not need to run from desire. He walks through it. And when the mind learns to transcend desire, she learns to overcome any obstacle. Energy without direction becomes chaos. Energy with a mission turns creative force. If you remove stimuli, train the body, and silence the mind, an inevitable question arises. Where does all this energy go? If you don't answer, desire answers for you. Musashi responded purposefully. He was more than just a swordsman. He was a strategist, calligrapher, painter, thinker. He channeled his energy into something that demanded precision, patience, and total presence. Art was another battleground. When you focus intensely on a real mission, desire loses its place, not for moral reasons. Due to lack of time, a mind preoccupied with creating has no energy left for fantasizing. A mind committed to something greater does not get lost in small stimuli. This is the mistake of modern man. He tries to control the urge without replacing the void he leaves. Control without a mission leads to frustration. Control with a mission leads to growth. Your mission doesn't need to be grand in the eyes of the world. She needs to be demanding in their own eyes. Building a business, mastering a skill, to create something from scratch, to study a field in depth, becoming dangerous in silence. Anything that requires sustained effort, concentration, and patience will do. Musashi lived to perfect the way. There was no mental space for distraction. Everything converged. And here's the rule that never fails. Where there is deep focus, superficial desire starves. Don't fight useless thoughts. Occupy your mind with something that consumes it entirely. The mission does not eliminate the desire. Share program. The energy that was once wasted on cheap distractions is now being used to build something solid, and that changes your identity. You stop being someone who resists. It becomes someone who advances. No warrior wins when surrounded by distractions, and no man maintains mental control while living in an environment that provokes him all the time. Your environment is not neutral. Educate your mind every day. If you wake up surrounded by sexual stimuli, useless notifications, empty conversations, and images that trigger automatic impulses, you're already starting the day at a disadvantage. Not out of moral weakness, by excessive triggers. Modern man underestimates the power of the environment because he believes that willpower is all it takes. That's naive. Willpower is a limited resource. The environment is a constant influence. Musashi understood this deeply. That is why he practiced strategic isolation. He avoided cities, parties, and distractions, not because he was antisocial, but because he knew that excess robs precision. What is robbing you of your precision today? Social networks full of sexual stimuli, profiles that sell fantasy, conversations that don't build anything, nighttime habits that drain energy. All of this seems insignificant when considered in isolation, but together they form a siege. The first step for the modern warrior is cleanliness, and cleaning hurts. Unfollow, silence, block it, delete, not out of hatred, for strategic reasons. If something triggers impulses that distract you from your mission, that is an enemy in disguise, and the warrior does not negotiate with enemies. The physical environment also matters. External disorder generates internal noise. Constant disorganization normalizes a lack of clarity. A simple, clean, and functional space communicates a silent message to the mind. There is order here, and where there is order, there is control. The same applies to people. Some drain energy, others become stronger. If someone ridicules your discipline, mocks your focus, or tries to drag you back into chaos, that person is not in your way. It's on the right track, against you. Musashi sought worthy opponents. You should seek out dignified environments. It's not about isolating yourself from the world. It's about choosing what goes into your mind. Whoever controls the environment controls the behavior. Whoever controls behavior shapes destiny. There comes a point when strategy ends, and the decision begins. This is the moment of clean cut. It's not a gradual process. It's not a maybe. It's not, I'll try. It's a line drawn on the ground. Before that, negotiating with impulses. After her, command. The clean cut is the warrior's decision, no going back. Musashi did this whenever he withdrew from the world to focus on the path of the sword. There were no concessions, there were no exceptions. Today, a clean cut can take many forms. Uninstall apps that drain your brain. Block access to content that triggers compulsive eating. Eliminate nighttime habits that sabotage your energy. End cycles that keep you weak. It's not radicalism, it's clear. A weak man lives constantly negotiating with himself. The warrior decides once and executes every day. A clean cut doesn't eliminate desire. He eliminates the power of desire over you. You still feel it, but he doesn't obey. You can still feel the impulse, but it doesn't bend. This decision creates something rare, internal integrity. When your actions begin to align with your decisions, your mind comes into alignment. And a man who is well behaved is hard to break. At first, there will be resistance. Habit will scream. The body will crave the old dose. Ignore. Every ancient identity struggles to survive, but without food, it dies. And in its place, something new is born. Posture, silence, presence. A clean cut is the point of no return. After that, you no longer try to control your mind. You command. No blade stays sharp without maintenance. The mind is no different. You can make a clean cut. You can organize the environment. You can define the mission. But if you don't create daily rituals, the old chaos returns with a smile. Because the enemy never sleeps, and habit always tries to reclaim territory. Musashi understood this. He didn't trust the decision alone. He trusted in disciplined repetition. Rituals are not superstition. These are psychological anchors. They remind the body and mind every day who is in charge. Let's start with the simplest and most overlooked silence. A true silence. No cell phone, no music, no distractions. 5 minutes a day can already create discomfort. And discomfort is a sign that you've hit the right spot. Silence reveals hidden impulses. It reveals anxiety. It reveals unresolved desires. And when you observe them without running away, they lose their power. Another essential ritual, walking alone. Without aesthetic intent, without posting, without registering. Walking clears the mind because it slows down thinking. It's a form of meditation in motion. Musashi did this intuitively, wandering between villages, observing, reflecting. The cold shower is used as a shock ritual. He teaches something brutal. You don't need to run away from discomfort. When the cold water hits your body and you stay still, something settles in. You prove to yourself that impulse doesn't rule, and this bodily memory remains. Journaling, writing, closes the cycle. Putting thoughts on paper takes weight off the mind. It's about seeing patterns. It's exposing self-deception. The man who writes ceases to be a hostage to the mental turmoil. These rituals are not meant to calm you down. They serve to make you stable. Without rituals, the mind reverts to autopilot. Through rituals, the warrior recalibrates himself daily. Don't wait for motivation. Ritual doesn't depend on mood, it depends on commitment. Those who clean themselves every day don't accumulate rust. Those who ignore maintenance become controlled again. There comes a point where techniques are no longer enough. You need identity. Musashi did not practice discipline. He eradiscipline. The mistake of modern man is to treat self-control as a temporary task. Something he does until it gets better. The warrior lives differently. He embodies the code. This code is simple, but ruthless. You don't negotiate on impulse. You don't feed distractions. You don't build your life around pleasure. You build around intention. Every action, no matter how small, answers a silent question. Does this strengthen or weaken my mind? If it weakens, it is discarded. No drama. Without guilt. The modern Musashi doesn't need to announce discipline. It appears in the posture, in the gaze, in silence. He doesn't chase after stimulation. He attracts opportunities because he is whole. He doesn't react emotionally to everything. He chooses when to act. This attitude changes how the world responds to you. People feel it. Environments have a feeling. Chaos recedes before those who have a center. And here's the final twist. When you stop being governed by desire, desire changes its function. It ceases to be an escape. It becomes fuel. The energy that once weakened you now propels you forward, not in chaotic explosions, but in constant progress. This is the rarest condition today. The man who lives under internal control. He doesn't need to prove anything. He builds. He doesn't consume it to anesthetize. He creates in order to express himself. Musashi died without titles, without material wealth, without applause. But he left behind something that has endured for centuries, a path. And the journey doesn't demand perfection. Ask consistency. If you live by the code, the world stops controlling you. And when that happens, you understand. Desexualizing the brain is not about losing pleasure. It's about regaining the power to decide when and why. We've reached the end point, and here there is no more technique, method, or theory. There is only one choice here. You can continue living like most people, reacting to stimuli, giving into impulses, calling distraction freedom, or you can take control. Everything said so far converges on a simple and brutal truth. Whoever does not govern their own desires will be governed by them. There is no middle ground. There is no such thing as neutrality. Desire without control is not pleasure. It's a waste of energy. It's the drain through which your strength slips away every day, drop by drop, until you wake up tired, confused, and distant from who you could have been. Desexualizing the brain is not about becoming cold. It's not about becoming a monk. It's not about killing the impulse. It is to put desire back in its proper place, below the mission, below the intended goal, below the level of consciousness. The warrior does not extinguish the fire. He builds an oven. When you master desire, something changes in your internal structure. You're walking differently, think differently, different age. You stop seeking external stimulation to fill an internal void, because emptiness was transformed into presence. You no longer need to chase after pleasure. You create value. You create direction. You create weight in your own decisions. This is the kind of man the system can't control, because he doesn't react. He chooses. Musashi didn't win because he was physically stronger. He won because I didn't waste energy, because he didn't negotiate on impulse, because he lived under a code, and that code remains valid today. Desire controls the weak. The warrior watches him. Discipline, and it transforms it into power. Nothing that has been said requires perfection. It demands responsibility. Responsibility for choices. Responsibility for the environment. Responsibility for the mind. If you fall, get up quietly. If you make a mistake, adjust it. But never again pretend you don't know, because now you know. And knowledge changes everything. Live as someone who governs their own mind. Build like someone who doesn't waste energy. Walk like someone who has already decided who they are. This is the path of the modern Musashi, and it begins, or ends, with your next choice.